Hey, welcome, welcome. This is Marnie. We are going to be talking today about the key to social media growth on Facebook. My guest today is Patty Mason, and you are at Marnie's Friends. Welcome. We're going to be using this time to talk about the key to building lasting success on Facebook, effective strategies you can use to genuinely connect with your audience, how to make your audience into solid followers, how to change and deal with approaches that didn't work for you, the importance of maintaining an active presence, also how to choose the right Facebook page name, one that aligns with your mission, and how to make your audience learn things or make sure that they'll learn something while they're engaging with your content. Our guest today is Patty Mason. She's a best-selling award-winning author, the 2025 Hidden Treasure Award winner, a passionate guide for women seeking a deeper connection with God. Patty founded Liberty and Christ Ministries and has encouraged women worldwide through her books, live events, media appearances, including American Family Radio, Moody Radio, and the 700 Club. You can learn more about our guest today, Patty, over at her website, libertyandchristministries.com, and invite her to speak via Christian Women Speakers at womenspeakers.com. Welcome to you, Patty. So excited to have you here.
Hi, Marnie. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and congrats on winning the 2025 Hidden Treasure Media Award. It's our first year. We're so excited, just kind of learning our way, and we're all learning together. It's a process. We don't arrive. We just keep learning.
So true.
Well, I am excited to have you here to share some things that you've learned about Facebook and about really growing a group there, getting involved with people's lives and still having a life of your own. So excited to dive right into this. So one of the things that people do a lot is they go into something, a social media outlet or starting a blog or, whatever, a business or whatever, and they don't last long because they're surprised maybe by the intensity of the requirements of it or whatever. But you wanted to start this conversation with how to build a lasting presence and have success on Facebook. So start us there.
Yeah. Well, what you said is very true. I mean, a lot of times we have very good intentions. We jump in, we've got visions of grandeur. We think we're going to have 1 million followers in a week. And when that doesn't happen, all of a sudden we find ourselves drifting off and we decide, well, this isn't working for me, and we quit. So I would say the number one key to building success on social media is consistency. You've got to be in it to win it. And you've got to make up your mind that, okay, I may start out with 30 followers, but you're going to build on that. Because honestly, the number is not the goal. The number is whatever audience, whatever God has put in front of you, you want to just pour into them. So the number one key to success on social media is consistency, because consistency builds credibility. You want to show up every day. And what I do is I post the same time every day. In fact, on my social media, I actually pre-schedule it so that I know that I am launching at the exact same time. So my audience knows when I'm showing up and when they can get my content.
I love that. Consistency is so important. And I remember being a young parent and you would hear consistency, but I couldn't be perfectly consistent. And I felt like that was hopeless. Like I just couldn't do it perfectly consistently. Then we had this couple come in and do a training, and they said consistency is defined like this. If people who followed you, if your children, if people who knew you well were to be given a scenario and said, what do you think Patty would do? Or what do you think Marty would do in this situation? And they could guess the answer correctly of what you consistently do, that counts as consistency. And I loved that. It was so freeing to me because I felt so hopeless in my parenting that I couldn't be perfectly consistent. But I actually was being consistent enough that my children knew what to expect from me. I would have my little off days or whatever, but they could know what to expect from me. So I want you guys to listen to two things that Patty said. One is consistency is king. That's so true. The other one is if you want to do it perfectly online for your group, pre-schedule it because life happens. So You aren't going to be perfectly consistent at 1 o'clock every day unless you schedule it. That's the only way to actually accomplish that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you have your scheduled post, you're ready to go and you're ready to be consistent. So how do you actually get people to engage?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I'm still figuring that one out. But actually, I think the most important thing is to know your audience, know who you're speaking to, and understand that these are real people with real problems and real goals. And you want to speak to their specific need and their specific goal and their specific heart desire. Because I know when I'm looking on social media and something that stops me, it's something that speaks to me directly. It speaks to something that, oh, I need to stop here and pay attention to this. And so you want to make sure you're using hooks. I actually have hooks already written out that I use, that I actually go through them and go, okay, which hook is going to be best for the content that I want to post here? Because you want some scroll stopping hooks. I also recommend if you use ChatGPT or something, that you can also Google and say, hey, what would be, some scroll stopping hooks for this particular topic? And then it'll give you a list of them. So that's great. But basically, know your audience. That's number one. Know what their needs are. Get inside their hearts and their heads. And then speak to them emotionally. Speak to their needs. You want to add value. You want to give them value. You want to help them to understand because you want to address their problem. Okay, this is how I look at it. What is the problem? What is the solution? Take action. And so I speak to their problem. I give them a solution. And then I give them a call to action. Something else that I find works very well for me is telling stories, because stories are relatable. Stories click with people. And so don't just sell them things. I think people are so over being sold. Just speak to their need through stories and relatable stories, things that you've battled with, things that you've overcome. And then that's how they start engaging with you.
Mm-hmm. So that's so great, all of it. Go back to hooks again. For those listening who don't know what a hook is, give a brief example or two of a hook.
Yeah. Well, a hook is something that's going to grab the reader's attention. Like, what if I told you? What is the shocking statement? What if I told you? What is the compelling question? Or, are you struggling with this? It's giving something that's going to hook the reader in that very first sentence that's going to get them to now continue to read your content.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And I loved the idea of ChatGPT too, just putting in there your topic or category and give me 10 fun hooks.
Yes.
Now, one thing I always am saying now with ChatGPT, and I was having a hard time identifying how to actually express this until just at the Well conference we were just at, I figured it out in front of a class. It just came out of my mouth, and I'm just going to go forward saying this in the future too. ChatGPT is absolutely fantastic. I use it all the time. I love it. But there is one thing ChatGPT will never do. It will never check in with the Holy Spirit for you.
Right.
So stay in control of things. Do not think that ChatGPT can say it the way the Holy Spirit of God will say it through you. I love it for ideas, for checking things. I'll often create I just was doing this right before we came on, create a paragraph and put it in and say, improve this, look at it, tip my head and say, yeah, close, better, and then revise it again. But be careful, because it is not a person. It is certainly not a believer in God. And if I were to guess, I would say it might even be opposed to God at its core, depending on who programmed it. So be very cautious how much power you give it in your life and in your communication. But definitely, I think of it like my vehicle. I love my van. I love that my van takes me where I need it to go, but I am not going to let my van tell me where I'm going today. Yeah, good. Okay. How do you make your audience into solid followers?
Again, consistency is the key. Be authentic. Be yourself. I think too often we show up on social media and we try to be somebody else. We go out and we go, oh, that's working for that person, so let me copy that. No, just be you. Talk to them like you're talking to your best friend. One of the things that I learned is when I show up authentically, and this is almost kind of funny, because I thought in the beginning when I was doing this was I was giving them great content. I was doing memes and I was doing mock-ups. That's the word I'm looking for. I was doing these great, beautiful mock-ups and with beautiful women, and I was having these inspiring posts and putting scripture and all of this, and crickets. But when I started posting pictures of myself and telling stories, oh my gosh, the engagement just went, oh, okay, there really are people out there listening. Right. So be yourself, be authentic. You don't have to be somebody else. And again, if you want people to really engage with you or to really be a solid follower, something else I learned to do is offer freebies.
Yes.
Because when you give them value and you give them free content and you give them things that they can use and they start to build, oh my goodness, this is great stuff that you've given me here. So now they'll come back for more. It's also a great way to build your mailing list too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Because when you offer a freebie, don't just put the PDF link into your post, put a link that takes them to a page where they give you their name and their email address in exchange for the thing you're offering. That adds that to your email list. Yeah, good. Yeah. All right, great. All right. So there will be things that do not work for you. I remember walking into a classroom one time. I was going to teach a class on social media, and a gal walked in and held up the book, How to Get a Million. I don't remember which one it was. Anyway, How to Get a Million something followers in a month or something like that. And she goes, can you do better than this? She's holding up this book like a challenge to me as the teacher. Can you do better than this? And I said, well, have you read it? And she said, I have not. And I said, I have. And I still don't have 1 million followers. So I'm not sure I can do better than that. But I am going to share with you some strategies that have worked for me and for others. And that's really, honestly, what works for one person does not mean it's going to work for you.
That's right.
What works for one person worked for one person. So I encourage you, like right here, we're going to talk about what to do with the disappointments, and you will have disappointments.
You will. Absolutely, you will. Again, this is what I'm saying. Don't compare yourself to others, because like Marnie said, what worked for one person is not going to necessarily work for you. And remember, the goal is not to get 1 million followers. That's not the goal. And you have to remember the audience that you're speaking to, they are people. They're not numbers. They're not likes. They are genuine people who want to feel loved and cared for. They want to feel heard. They want to know that you're speaking into their problem. But as you say, Marnie, there are a lot of things I tried, a lot of things I threw at the wall to see what stuck, and a lot of things fell to the ground. But I have got a few things that I would like to share that I actually changed, started doing a little bit differently, and actually made a little bit of a difference. And one of the things was hashtags. Now, I used hashtags in the past, but I was using the wrong hashtags. Something I learned is 80% of people use hashtags incorrectly. They want to hashtag their topic or hashtag their content, like hashtag peace or hashtag joy or hashtag God's love.
Yep.
Actually not great hashtags to use. They're very generic, and that's not what people are looking for. You want to hashtag your audience. You want to hashtag your product. What is it you're promoting or selling? And then you also want to hashtag the results. Now, here's some examples. I speak to busy women, who are looking to connect with God every day. So a hashtag I might use is hashtag busy moms or hashtags faith made simple for busy women. So you want to hashtag your audience. Who is it you're trying to reach? Then you want to hashtag your product. Like, for example, hashtag simple Bible study, because my product is quick and easy Bible studies for busy women. Or you maybe want to use hashtag faith made easy. Then you also want to hashtag the result that you want them to have. For example, maybe hashtag Bible study success or hashtag growth in faith daily. So you want to think of it that way. Who is the audience you're trying to reach? What is the product that you're trying to promote or you're trying to offer? And what is the result that you want your audience to get? So learning to use hashtags correctly actually helped to increase my audience because I began to reach the right people. The second thing I learned, and Marnie actually mentioned this about links, something that I learned is you actually don't want to put links in your post. Why? Because Facebook, the algorithm, it sees when you put a link in your post and it will actually kick you out because Facebook wants to keep you on Facebook. They don't want you going to other places. So what you want to do is, especially when you're offering something free, is you want to say, hey, if you're interested, or if you would like more information, or if you want to get whatever it is you're offering, go drop in the comments, simple Bible study. Or me or something, to have them put a word or a phrase in the comments. Now, this does two things. One is it causes the algorithm not to kick you out. And two, when the algorithm sees that there is reaction on your content, they go, ooh, this is something people want. So it will actually help you to promote more. And here's the other thing is when you have a link in your post and somebody clicks on it, you don't know that they've clicked on it. But if they put it in the comments, you now got their name. And so now you can follow up with them. You can personal message them. Now you send them the link. Now you send them the information and the freebies. And now you're interacting with them, showing that you care about them, personalizing it. And now you're building a connection and a relationship with that person, because that's the thing you want to remember about social media is people want to interact with people. People buy from people that they know and that they trust and then they can connect with. So build the personal connection on Facebook. And then here's the third thing that I learned was build your personal brand. As I said earlier, when I was posting pictures of myself with a story, that's when things really began to grow because people want to connect with people. And again, it's stories is really what sells. And so I really didn't like being a personal out there. I mean, personal brand. I felt very uncomfortable with it. I'm like, why would they want to look at pictures of me? I don't get this. I mean, I'm doing this. I'm giving you great content here, and this is what you should be dealing with. But whenever I would post myself with a story and even put that, hey, if this relates to you, put me in the comments and you can follow up. But that really shocked me. But then I also began to realize, again, what I just said, people want to deal with people. They don't want to be sold. They want connection. And so build your personal brand. It's very, very important. And one little tidbit I'll also give you, a little bonus, is whenever I find a post that I feel is very beneficial and I think would really, really help someone, and for some reason it's not getting out there, maybe it's because of the Facebook algorithm, or maybe I posted at the wrong time of day, but I do that little @everyone. And if you ever noticed that on your little in Facebook, if you do @everyone, not everyone, they won't post it to everybody, but a lot of people that are in your group, that are on your page, will all of a sudden start to see your post. Now, one trick is you don't want to put this @everyone in your post. I've tried this and it didn't work. You actually want to put it in the comments. Okay. Hey, @everyone, did you see? Or hey, @everyone, ask them a question. And it starts a conversation going. And now you've got the algorithm kicking in. So that's just a little bonus for you.
Pure gold. Wow, so good. So hashtags, that's when you put the little plus or the pound sign in front of something. And how long is your longest hashtag? How long do you actually go? Like 5 words?
Yeah, usually not more than 4 words. Yeah,
4 words.
Like a little phrase. But remember, you're hashtagging your audience, your product, and the result, not the content or the topic that's in your post.
Yeah, I love that. And I've not heard that before, and I will have to try that. That sounds really cool. And then when you do @everyone, that's all you do is type the @ and then everyone, and it actually gives it out to your whole list. Now, I've seen that in my PM, but I haven't seen it on my feed necessarily.
Yep.
But it works on the feed.
And it will notify people that are in, like, for example, in my group, it works really well in my group, as I have a group Facebook page as well as a personal one. And when I put that, hey, @everyone, it will actually send the people in my group a message and says, hey, Patty is reaching out to you.
Okay, so it does come through the PM.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, that's what I've seen. I haven't seen it on the page,
Yeah.
but I have seen it, and that you do it on the page and that sends the PM. All right, I get that now. And I do think there's a caution to not overuse that at everyone thing.
Yes, you can only use it once a day.
Once a day is the max. And I even encourage you guys, when I have somebody that's doing that day after day after day after day, I get tired of it. I don't know if everybody would, but I just think if you have something special to share, do that. But I would caution overusing it maybe.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Maintaining an active presence. And I think by this, you're talking about actually communicating online, not just posting stuff up and disappearing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Show up. Just also one of the things that really works for me are videos. Don't be afraid to do Facebook Live. I think there's a lot of people that are nervous. A lot of people hesitate to get out there because, oh, maybe they don't look good or whatever. Listen, just show up. People are looking for real authenticity because I think one of the things we're over is the plastic images, you know, with all the filters and I think we're over it. I really do. I think because especially the women I talk to are busy moms, you know, who've got a kid on the hip and they don't have time to put makeup on. And when they look at these perfect images of people, they go, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And so they move on. I think the more real you are and the more you show up and the more you just be yourself and talk to them like you're talking to a friend, the more they're going to engage with you, the more they're going to follow you, the more they're going to connect with you, the more they're going to buy from you or want whatever it is you're offering them. And then they're going to get something out of it and they're going to learn and they're going to grow.
Yeah, I love that. And when it comes to authenticity, a couple of rules there. Number one, if you don't want to see it on the 10 p.m. news, don't put it on your page. It is public. Once you go public with it, it is public. And even though you might take it down, some other people, we saw this not too long ago happening virally. Other people had made copies of it before people took it down, and it's still out there. So be careful what you post. But authenticity is when we share a real situation that's happening in our life and how God is really walking us through it in the moment, because otherwise everything's always later down the road. And people do like to see, what do you do in the moment when everything's going wrong, or what happened this morning and how did God show up for you when you didn't know what to do, and that you have a problem in your life. You don't just have a perfect life, but do be cautious about, and then sharing other people, make sure that your story is about you, not about other people. And be careful not to slander or to gossip or anything like that. Just be very cautious that once you put it out there, it's out there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, you want to use common sense.
Yes.
I mean, like anything else, you want to use like even like you're talking about the ChatGPT. You want to use common sense. You want to be led by the Spirit. But again, it's just that matter of being raw and being real. And remember, like what Marnie was saying, when you put something out there, Facebook owns it, even if it's a picture. So yeah, but just use common sense. But just, I guess the message is just to be yourself, show up for your audience and be yourself.
I'm thinking, as you're saying that, I'm thinking the best example of this is God and the Bible. I mean, nobody in their right mind would have written the Bible like God wrote the Bible. He has everybody's dirty laundry just airing out right there. And it's because he wants us to know that his love covers a multitude of sins. And there's nothing we could ever do that would be too great of a sin for him to forgive. And so he just tells it like it is. And that's why we love it. It's because when other people share that they're real and they're struggling in their life too, over something, that we feel connected to them in the human experience that we have here. And then we can feel connected to the other stuff. And like, I aspire to that. So choosing a Facebook name, or how do you even begin to do that?
That's a really great question. I love that question. All right, here's what I want you to think of. I want you to think of your dream client. Who is that one person? Now, again, I think so often when we start a Facebook page, we are thinking masses. We somehow want to have 1 million followers in a week. No, I want you to think of that one person. Who is your dream client? Who is that one person that you really want to help? What is the problem that they have? What is the goal that they have? What is it that they want to achieve? What is something that you've overcome? What is something that God has walked you through? Now you're able to help someone. So for me, my little niche is quick and easy Bible studies for busy women. Okay. And so my tagline is helping busy women connect with God, because that's what I want. I want to help them. I want to know, okay, what is my one person? What are they Googling at 2:00 in the morning? What is keeping them up at night? And for me, my perfect client or my dream client is someone who is Googling, how to connect with God in a busy schedule, or even why am I failing as a Christian? Now, listen, I'm not saying that I want people to feel like they're failing as a Christian, but the person that I'm trying to reach, because I'm trying to help them connect with God every day and to build in the relationship with God and to show them that it isn't hard. It isn't time consuming. Listen, I know faith is hard. Faith is a walk. Faith is a journey. Oh my gosh, there are days we feel like we're not going to make it and we cling to God. I'm not talking about faith. I'm talking about connecting with God every day. And it is so easy. And I want to show women that even in their busy schedules, even when they're working a 9-to-5 job and they've got 3 kids at home and they're cooking meals and they're scrubbing out tubs and they don't barely even have time for themselves. It's like, oh my gosh, how can I have 5 minutes to do Bible study? I want to reach those busy women who don't know how they are going to squeeze God into their life. I want to show them how to make God their life. And so that's why I've labeled mine. Okay, you've got your label for your page. Okay, mine is Quick and Easy Bible Studies for Busy Women, because that's the product that I offer, and then helping busy women connect with God every day. So think about your perfect audience as that one person that you are trying to reach. What is their problem? What is their goal? And how can you help them? And what are they Googling at 2 a.m? What is keeping them up at night? And think about the answers to these questions. And then once you get the answer, once you start to hone, I like to call them an avatar. And I actually name my avatar. My avatar's name is Carol. And when I think about Carol, what can I offer Carol? Okay, today, how can I help Carol connect with God today? And so once you have all the answers to these questions, now you come up with 1 or 2 sentences and really hone in exactly what you do. And that's the tagline that you want to use. And when you do your banner on Facebook, you want to have that tagline in your banner. You also want to have a fabulous picture of yourself. Okay, don't something that, you've got, you're in casual clothes or whatever. You want to get a very professional picture done. And the phones now are so great. You can actually do this with the right lighting and get a really, really good picture of yourself. Have a friend do it. And then also one of the things I do on my banner is I offer a free gift. So if they click on my banner and you put that in the description, then again, that's another way to build your mailing list.
Yeah. That's awesome. Amazing. Such good stuff. And then we're kind of coming in for a landing here. It's important that they walk away with some value, not just you sharing what you had for lunch.
Yes. Yes.
How do you keep them on track with that? How do you stay ahead of that?
Yeah. A lot of times I will follow up with something that maybe a video that I've done. If I'm noticing people are really engaged in something particular that I posted, then I will keep posting more and more about that, because you want them to learn, you want them to grow. I mean, at the bottom, at the end of the day, what is the goal that you are trying to reach? Okay, what is it that you're trying to do for your audience? And as I said, I'm trying to help busy women make God their life. And so again, the question that I ask myself every day is, how can I help Carol? How can I help my avatar? Because honestly, if you speak to one person, you just spoke to a multitude of women or men or whoever it is you're trying to reach. So how am I going to help her today to connect with God? Then I make it relatable.
Love it.
I tell stories. I point them to Jesus. I give the call to action. Remember, you have the hook. You do a story, a call to action. And then your
Yeah.
call to action is usually you want to drop something in the comments so that you can get the algorithms going. And then when people respond, then you send them a link, you get them on your newsletter, you get them on your mailing list, and you keep them engaged. And then also, like, I also have a YouTube channel. I send them over there too.
Yeah, right.
So, but again, it's just that providing that value, knowing who you're helping, speaking to their need, speaking to their goal, helping them each and every day to have the result that you're trying to help them have. And for me, I'm pointing them to Jesus and trying to help them connect with God every day, and just showing just how simple that really is.
So beautiful. Thanks, you guys, for being here. Thanks, Patty, for being here. Loved having you here. You guys want to make sure to reach out to her over at libertyinchristministries.com or womenspeakers.com to invite her to speak to your group, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.